Today we are talking about oil reclamation stations. So, what is an oil reclamation station? Here is an example of an oil reclamation station that I designed and built. So you can see we have a receiving tank where the reclaimed oil or dirty oil gets dumped into. The oil from the receiving tank then flows down into a pump, through a filter, back up to the receiving tank, and that process repeats itself, known as kidney looping. You will note that there's a three-way ball valve here. So once you are satisfied with the cleanliness of the oil in that receiving tank, you change the position of that three-way ball valve, and it then pumps the oil into your clean dispensing tank. There is also a second pump and filter that is attached to the dispensing tank. So you can also further refine and do a final filter polish on that clean oil if you so choose to. So maybe your business practice would be to get all the main contaminants in the first receiving tank and then do a final fine polish in your dispensing tank. Again, that's up to you and your specific situation. But you see the dispensing tank has a lockable dispensing valve, so only authorized employees can dispense oil from that tank. And you'll note down below there is a drip pan to catch any oil that may accidentally spill or drip during operation. There's also a drain valve where that oil can be captured and poured back into the receiving tank to be filtered, cleaned, and reused in the system. I also included a grounding wire on each tank and attached to each pump and filter housing to reduce or prevent the buildup of static electricity inside the oil tanks or in the system as a whole. And the frame that this whole assembly sits on is simply square tubing that I welded together. So what are the applications for an oil reclamation system or station? Well, oil reservoir maintenance. So say you have a bulk oil storage tank, and as you know, there's going to be issues with the transport of new oil. So it gets pumped into a tanker truck. The tanker truck has to drive across town to get to your facility, pump it out of the tanker truck into your holding tanks. There's opportunity all along the way for contaminants. Oil reservoir maintenance could also be on a specific piece of equipment in your facility or your shop. Maybe it got contaminated with moisture or dust, dirt, debris, etc., and you need to clean that debris out of the oil. That will many times be a lot cheaper than having to replace all of the oil brand new. If you're trying to implement green business practices, so you're reclaiming oil to reuse it, and you're going to have reduced overhead costs. So depending on what type of oil we're talking about, vacuum pump oil, for example, can be very expensive. So if you can reclaim that oil and get the cleanliness standards back to ISO purity, that's a huge cost savings there. Gearbox oil maintenance. So again, a piece of industrial equipment. You can filter and clean that oil back to near virgin standards. Pump oil maintenance. Again, as I mentioned earlier, vacuum pump oil in the industrial space can be very costly. And finally, another application would be just so you have a proper dispensing station for your employees to dispense oil into smaller containers or to fill oil cavities in equipment. So you need to ask yourself, if you're going to do this, what exactly are you trying to remove from the oil? Are you trying just to remove moisture, large solids, fine particulate, surfactants, color, additives, dissolved gases, etc.? The reason why that matters is you need to choose the correct filter element or elements, right? There's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all filter element. Again, you need to know what type of oil you're working with and what are the contaminants you're trying to filter out of that oil. With that information, you should be able to purchase the correct filter elements for your application.
Woo!
So what are the benefits of a oil reclamation station? You can have reduced abrasive wear inside equipment. You're going to maintain better lubricity, increased equipment uptime, reduced downtime, and increase the lifespan of that equipment. Extended oil life, so you're not going to have to buy new virgin oil as often. Saving money. Reduced fluid breakdown, so the reduction of sludge and varnish buildup. Maintain consistent oil viscosity and proper oil dispensing station for your employees. So here's a few more quick examples of an oil reclamation station. See, it's got 2 tanks. This one has 3 filters and 2 pumps. It's got a storage area for bottles. Here's another 3D model that I made in Fusion 360. This one only has 1 pump, 1 tank, and 1 filter. So again, depending on your application, you may need 1 tank, 2 tanks, 1 filter, or more. I hope this information helps you. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.